Howdy everyone, Pocho here, your union representative for Age of Magic, and in today's video we are going to petition the use of more heroes within Nightmare Raids. Playkot have said that if I get over 100 comments on this video, they'll consider adding more heroes to the pool. They didn't actually say that, but you know what they say, if you just think about something long enough, it's probably going to happen. So yeah, just leave a comment. We need 100. Even 10 would do, but this affects everybody. We're looking out for all players, and I'll give you the list of reasons why this needs to happen. So Nightmare Rating, all heroes matter, AHM, that is the hashtag we're going to use until this wish comes a reality, and we're expanding the use of heroes within Nightmare Raid. First up, what is Nightmare Raid? It is raiding, but it's a nightmare. It's an actual nightmare, dealing with the people in the clan, making sure everyone does the right lanes, making sure people have their health kits ready to use, pushing when needed. It's a whole fiasco. It's endgame content. It's old content as well. It is getting to that point. It's the biggest push in leaderboard points for Nightmare Raiding, or the raid leaderboard, and it has 4 difficulties: normal, difficulty 1, 2, and 3, and the raid restricts you to using very specific heroes, hence the whole point of this video, trying to expand that list. What heroes can you use? There are 8 teams that are available to you: Witches, Defense Orb, Van Norths, Beastmen, Knights of the Council, Guardians of Order, also known as Goos, Cloud Wanderers, and Assassins Guild. But this is a lie. You actually have 4 usable teams. Let's start with the Cloud Wanderers. They are paired with the Beastmen. You have to use one of these 2 factions in that section of the raid, but the Beastmen are too old. They do not have what it takes to get you through Nightmare Raiding, so you have to rely on the Cloud Wanderers. Next up, the Assassins. They're paired with the Van Norths. Now, for a long time, the Van Norths were the raiding team until the Assassins got Blade. The Assassins then quickly became the Nightmare Raiding team in that pair, and the Van Norths got pushed out. So fair, because the Van Norths are not a raiding faction. They are good, they are capable, but they don't have the utility to be a raiding faction. I'm not saying you can't use them. The Assassins just perform highly compared to the Van Norths. Next up, the Witches and the Defense Orb squad. Now, this is a trick because it's not 2 teams. It's essentially the same team, but the Defense Orb squad uses 2 different heroes. So we really don't have 8 teams to pick from. We've got 7.5. Next, we have the Goos. They're paired with Knights of the Council. Knights of the Council, though their kit could potentially be used for Nightmare Raiding, they are just an old faction. They do not have the stats to keep up with the damage output and the teams you are versing in Nightmare Raiding. So the 8 factions really go down to 7.5 when you think that the Witches and the Defense Orb are pretty much the same team, and then the 7.5 really go down to 4. There's 4 usable teams for Nightmare Raiding, and what's next? Let's open the floodgates of... Okay, the difficulty per different raids is needed. I understand that. We want it to get harder, and honestly, there should be more difficulty levels past difficulty 3. Difficulty 3 shouldn't be the end. It should have way more. And I don't care if those higher levels are impossible, but it would give a more diverse leaderboard. It gives people the opportunity to push as high as they want to go. It's not the point of the video, but I did want to put it in there. The problem lies with the teams that we can use. The difficulty spike exceeds far past the capabilities of the teams we can use. So what I mean by this is, in the normal Nightmare Raid, you're gonna be able to get through that with pretty standard heroes. You don't have a lot of investment in these heroes. When you start to get to D3, even the most heavily invested heroes, and I'm talking from personal experience, my Cloud Wanderers, they're almost all gear 15. Almost all of their awakenings are hit up, okay? Their medallions are all level 80. Mind you, not perfect stat on the medallions, but they are level 80 medallions, and I am getting my ass pummeled in D3 Nightmare. The difficulty does not match the capabilities of the teams we are currently able to use. And like I said, we already lost half the teams at the beginning before we even jumped into Nightmare Raiding. When you get to D3, the 4 teams you do have access to, it really feels like only one of them is really capable. And out of the 4 usable teams, there's only one team that is efficiently built for raiding, and that is the Witches. And I'm going to clarify this point because you're probably like, the Assassins are really good. The Goos are really good. Again, let me clarify in the upcoming slide. Usable raid teams. 1 URT, and that is the Witches. Yeah, we got the nice little picture here. Just wanted to spice things up. Cloud Wanderers, no. Assassins, no. Goos, no. Witches, thumbs up. Great team. Okay. Oh yeah, I was meant to clarify. Okay, so Cloud Wanderers are a great team, but they are not a raiding team. They do not have the survivability. A lot of the enemies they're versing as well are countering them, like the Van Norths, for example. And when you have a Bliss who is meant to counter that, Bliss can't use his... I forget what the buff is called, but it prevents the Van Norths from using their Magic Absorb. The thing is, this is a one-time use, and it has a cooldown. Once the cooldown runs out, you have to use it again, and if it's not the start of the wave, it can still be Magic Absorbed by the enemy. Okay, the Van North's Magic Absorb, however, is constantly working. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. They are not capable of raiding. Okay, once they start knocking out your heroes, and the AI is going to leave ever till last. Okay, so they're going to knock out your Capfay, they're going to knock out your Bliss, they're going to knock out your Ramfit, they're going to knock out your Roxanne, then they're going to kill Eva. She's going to bring back 2 other characters and herself. You're already at a disadvantage. You're going in 3 characters into Nightmare teams. They just cannot survive. It takes almost perfect medallions, insane investment, and you need to be able to play them on manual at almost a perfect level. That's considering what enemies you're going to go into, timing your abilities. It is one of the worst experiences I have using Cloud Wanderers. Absolute worst. Assassins. Now, you're probably wondering, like I said before, why are Assassins here? Now, Assassins are a wonderful Nightmare team, but the problem is the Assassins, when Nightmare Raiding was released, weren't. They have received Blade. They have received Willow. It wasn't until Nightmare Raiding was well underway that the Assassins got tech to make them extremely efficient in raiding, and then they became a raid team. So it is possible to add new heroes to this game mode that helps us get through the game mode. Same with Goos. Now, the Goos were always a decent raid team. However, with the release of Nefara and Warris, it improved their use within the raid. It made the Goos so much more fluent in how they got through nodes. Those 2, Warris specifically, countered a lot of the issues that Goo players were facing. And those were the nodes that had Yukis and Captain Johns on it, because there was no way to get through. Well, for an average player, there was no way to get through those characters. It relied on a lot of RNG, really heavy investment, and it was really painful. And depending on the arena buff that was on that node, it was almost impossible. Then Warris came along, and he was perfect. He created a glue or a putty that filled up the holes that this team had, and they became wonderful raiders. Witches, just perfect. Perfect. They are the best raid team, my all-time favorite. Adding more heroes to this faction would only make it even better. Okay? They are just such a good, well-rounded faction. I love them. I don't have a bad thing to say about them. But also in saying that, I can't remember this off the top of my head, but they weren't always good. It wasn't until Diana received her awakenings that the faction just became wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So yeah, they haven't always been perfect. Diana needed that little boost. They gave it to her. So the whole point of this is just saying the ability is there. It's been proven. It's been done before that we've been given little bits of pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that we were missing to make these teams good. It could extend past these factions. Throw some other factions in there that fill some gaps or just make the experience more fluent. Moving on, it is old content. It is becoming old content. Since Nightmare Raiding, we have TOC, we have clan battles, the Titans are on the way, we received medallions. In terms of the progress of Age of Magic itself, Nightmare Raid is being pushed further and further back. New stuff's coming out. That new stuff obviously makes Nightmare Raiding easier if it affects the heroes we can use in Nightmare Raiding, but the content is now becoming old. And the big questions are, how many players are doing this content? It's old content. You would assume that the majority of players that have at least a decent-ish endgame account are at least experiencing this content. The older the content gets, the easier it should become for players to get into. How many players in the community are able to do this content? And is it healthy for the game? Having this roadblock for this game mode, what purpose is it serving? Now I understand there's a business side to this, but from a player-based side, from creating a healthy game, is it good for the game? Is it good for your players? What is the real butterfly effect happening from this? I get it, okay? So you want people to invest in these heroes, you want people to invest in the witches, you want people to invest in Cloud Wanderers, the Goos, the assassins. You want people to do that. You want the content to remain difficult. Players have already invested in these heroes. These are some of the key points, okay? Let's start with the top one. You want people to invest in these heroes. It is a game to us. It is a business to you. We all know it. It's the way every game works since the get-go. Even though the way in which games have evolved has been an absolute skyrocketing experience, at the end of the day, it is a company selling to players. You want people to invest in these heroes. This isn't really a concern for Nightmare Raiding anymore. The reason for this is because we have other game modes now where we still need to use these heroes. People are going to invest in these factions regardless because they're still usable in other areas of the game. Clan battles being the biggest part. We want to still have these heroes. Having your Defense Orb squad for clan battles, awesome. Having your Goose with now Nefara and Warris, people still going to build those heroes. Assassin's Guild, they can take on not Crimson Order, Chaos Spawn. They can beat Renegade Demons. People are still going to build those characters. Which is same as Defense Orb Squad. Cloud Wanderers, again, people are still going to build these teams. Saying that this game mode is built to help people or want people to invest in these heroes is an irrelevant argument now because these heroes are still very usable in other content. People are still going to build them. Yes, the pressure to build them will be lowered, but it's not going to disappear. They're still going to be very usable heroes, and as long as game modes like clan battles exist, and let's take Raid Shadow Legends for example, because it's a game mode I would love to see, like a cursed city type thing where players have to use their heroes to battle the nodes to get to the central boss. If you create game modes like this, every hero, most usable heroes are always going to be relevant. So don't think about it as making these heroes irrelevant because it always depends on the content you create that's going to make heroes relevant. Having big content that requires lots of heroes, people are still going to build these characters. You want it to remain difficult content, understandable. Like I said, you could easily add more difficulties to the raid, but the difficulty thing, again, I don't see it as a valid argument for Nightmare Raid because of the fact it is now becoming old content. Start getting more people into it, allow them to grow as you build new content. It's just going to create a better atmosphere. It's going to make people happier. It's a win-win at the end. Yes, again, you're losing that pressure on building these factions, but the pressure is still there. It's not disappearing, and you just make your clientele happier. Think about it. Just think about it. And players have already invested in these heroes. That's the biggest one, I think. For people that have built their witches, that have built their Cloud Wanderers, their assassins, their goos. If Playkot came around and said, hey, we're going to add Circus, we're going to add Federici, we're going to add Renegade Demons to Nightmare Raid, people are going to be like, well, we built these heroes, it's unfair. But it's not. Number one, as mentioned, it's now old content. Old content should never be gatekept. Just give people access to it. Make it easier. Focus on the new stuff, okay? The investment in these heroes is never going to be wasted, like I said, as long as we have game modes like TOC, like clan battles, where we need access. Tomb of Cradle of Chaos. Add more levels to Cradle of Chaos. These heroes are still going to have value. Their value is not tied only to Nightmare raiding anymore. The people that have invested in these heroes, their investment stays. They're gonna use these heroes regardless. It still makes them strong in clan battles. That's the biggest area where these heroes are gonna be usable. And to be honest, I see more people, even end-game players from the top 10 clans, asking for this. I think that you would find that more people than not would be happy with expanding the pools of heroes usable in Nightmare Raid. And the biggest reason for this is because then it gives these end-game clans access to more players. The pool at the end of the game is thinning out. It's harder to get new players. Allowing access to a wider range of people, giving even new players the hope that they can get to end-game clans because they can work on the heroes they want to, over being forced to pick between staying meta-relevant or building old factions, is going to be more helpful for them as well. The heroes in this game have value. All heroes matter. Thank you for your time and your consideration of the AHM movement. We seek to create a healthier and more inclusive AOM, from the smallest SNE to the biggest gatekeeper. We love all our heroes. Bring them to Nightmare Raid. Please, Playkot. Listen to our words. And yeah. Anyway, Polcho, I didn't mean to click that. Polcho out. Peace out. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your day. Whatever. Out. Goodbye. See ya.